What is going on, everybody? Eagles get the dub 24-19. The Eagles walk in to one of the best offenses in NFL history, hold them to literally 12 points. I'm not counting the garbage time points. Holding Derrick Henry to nothing. Anyone who thinks this is not the NFL's best defense is straight up delusional. This was the Eagles' signature win. All the haters who are wondering if the Birds could win with a run-heavy offense and defensive team got their answer tonight. The Eagles shut down the best offense in the league with truly a mediocre offensive performance that will all break down. Man, this Eagles team's ability to make great teams look good versus amazing is truly kind of the whatever you want to call it, the candle on top of the cake. Like, it's just amazing for their playoff chances. Joining us, he is Shane at Shane Half NFL. What's up, Shane?
What's up, Dives? I'm so glad we don't do these shows after odd numbered quarters, because I was really upset at the end of the first and the third, but we got to do the halftime show after a great second quarter. Now we get to do the post-game show after a great fourth quarter. I'm so glad to be here.
We've got a donation from Pump Man saying, what a game from our running back, offensive line, and defense. Jalen Hurts not messing it up. Thanks for the donation, Pump Man. Also joining us, he is Rob Langy. Go give him a follow at Philly_Madness. What's up, Rob?
This was a day, gentlemen. This was a day. Gut check win for this team. Not going to be the prettiest necessarily on the stat sheets on the offensive side of the ball, but it didn't have to be today, right? You're going up against one of the better teams in the league on the road in a place you've never won before as a franchise. And, you know, your defense played lights out, exceptional football, made every play that you asked them to make in this game, which allowed for the offense to, even though a bit sluggish, get on the ball when they need to. And those two big fourth quarter drives, one that gets the Saquon Barkley touchdown and then the field goal obviously late. Incredible. I mean, listen, every time I think, all right, maybe this is where they have a hiccup. Maybe this is where, you know, things just don't gel. The ball doesn't bounce their way. This team answers the bell. And look, you got to give this to Vic Fangio. You got to give this to Kellen Moore. You got to give this to Nick Sirianni. The coaching has them ready for any and all situations. They have now proven they can win by outscoring you, or they can win by just D'ing your ass up. So I am thrilled between that and my personal victory today, Dives. It's been a great day.
Yes, sir. Guys, as always, if you're new to the Eagles Pinpool Network, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll be here for a while with this one. I got some drinks here. We're going to have some fun. And by the way, I hope everyone had a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Comment with us. Let us know your thoughts on the game. Eagles, my man Eric, saying one of the most resilient games I have ever seen. Normally we do this thing and go, you know, Jalen Hurts, offense to defense. We're going to flip the script because I haven't hosted one of these in a while. And that's what I do here. We got to lead off with the defense.
It's funny. I did the same thing last week in your absence.
Yeah.
Oh, you did, really?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. We got to lead off with the defense. This was the Vic Fangio masterclass. What an addition for the Philadelphia Eagles this offseason. Zach Bond, 13 tackles, was everywhere, had an amazing tackle for loss, also had a sack. Nakobe Dean, underrated 10 tackles in this one. Nolan Smith had a sack. Cooper DeJean taking down Derrick Henry in the open field. My goodness. Even my man, Jalix Hunt had a nice impression, nice flash there, setting the edge. I'll throw it to you, Shane. Let's start with defense. Quick reaction before we break it all down.
Cooper DeJean's tackle on Derrick Henry in the flat is the most impressive play from the defense in this game. You just don't expect that, or maybe you should expect that, but that was a huge moment. I mean, that whole sequence, you get him making the tackle of Derrick Henry when Derrick Henry had caught a few passes and gotten a lot of yardage that way before. You get Tristan McCollum filling in for an injured Reed Blankenship. I mean, let's just say he did the smart thing and knocked that pass down on fourth down. Not that he dropped an interception. It was totally on purpose because it's fourth down. We'll totally go with that. that's what he's going to be trying to sell to his coaches. But that little sequence was just amazing. And the defense obviously is, aided by some Justin Tucker misses, but
He sucks.
the defense was legit. The Ravens have, by DVOA, the best passing offense since the 2007 Patriots. And you play nearly the entire game missing a starting corner and a starting safety, and you hold them to 12 points before a garbage time touchdown to end the game. That's just incredible. Shout out to the entire defense. It's awesome.
Also, shout out because this Ravens offense was top in the league, I believe, in red zone offense. The Eagles held them to 2 of 5 in this one, which was so vital. There are not enough words to describe this Eagles defense, bailing out them in the first half, and then truly in that third quarter, I thought the Eagles offense was dog shit,
anemic,
and horrible. And we'll get into all of that. But the defense stepping up over and over and over again. Rob, what was your take on the defense?
Well, to go even further, I think the Cooper DeJean tackle of Derrick Henry was the defensive play of the year by this team. I'm willing to say that. And I'm also willing to say it's that tackle that has epitomized the story of this Eagles defense this year. Tough, gritty, outworking you. And when he gets up, a little swag to add on to it, which I loved. But let's not lose this man in this conversation. And that is Jalen Carter, who continues to wreak havoc. A couple weeks ago, I made a comment that he was starting to look like a former defensive tackle from many, many years ago who died tragically in Jerome Brown. He is becoming our generation's Jerome Brown because he just causes so much turmoil in the middle of that line that even if he doesn't make a play, although he's starting to now make plays on top of all this, he's doing something, and then he gets up and he's in people's faces. He picked Isaiah Likely to be the guy that he was going to talk smack to all game today, and he was in his grill all damn game. Not to mention, I thought Jordan Davis really showed up today a lot. There were some buzz plays where you saw him making tackles on the run or blowing up the middle so that Derrick Henry couldn't get downhill. Tremendous game for those defensive tackles, but Jalen Carter is an absolute superstar right now. And I know that we've been talking about him, but I don't think the town has been talking enough about how good this guy is.
Absolutely. And Shane or anybody that's good with computers in the chat, can you please walk me off the bridge here? Because I felt like Jalen Carter was held yet again. Every single freaking play. Yeah, Shane.
The Baltimore Ravens lead the NFL in offensive holding flags entering this week with 23. They held Jalen Carter literally every snap the entire game.
Not one flag.
And had 0 flag. Jalen Carter is one of the most disruptive pass rushers in the NFL right now. And that's with opposing offensive tackles literally allowed to violate rules every single play in an attempt to block him. Yeah. If they ever decide to actually start calling a quarter of the holding penalties that Jalen Carter deserves to get called, he would put up 20 sacks a season. It is insane. And it is an abomination how the NFL officials just absolutely refuse to throw a penalty flag on an offensive lineman for holding Jalen Carter. I absolutely don't get it. It's mind-boggling.
Can the Eagles coaches go to the league office and say, hey, start watching this and showing it to your officials? Because it's getting to a point now where it's absolutely ridiculous.
I saw all over Twitter during this game non-Eagles people tweeting about the holds on Jalen Carter. Like, that's how bad it is. This is not... I keep saying I generally don't like to talk about officials, and I feel like I've just complained about them for 3 weeks in a row now. But it's really been that bad, and it's so bad that you've got national people starting to talk about it all over Twitter. It's got to be fixed. It's insane.
Carter, DeJean, Quignon could have easily been all-pro caliber guys. This was a roller coaster game, a game with a ton of emotions. When Q went to that medical tent, I was devastated. I was worried. Like, that was an injury that could potentially change the identity of this defense. He's been so important. Quintanamo Bay yet again held Zay Flowers in check. What did Zay Flowers have today?
He had
3 catches for 74 yards.
And he had 40 on one of those catches. He had all the catches, I believe, were in the first quarter, because from that point on, he was basically held completely, to nothing really. And Quinyon and Cooper, when he was in the slot, were a big part of that.
Yep. Travis says Milton Williams also eating up front. I just don't understand why the holding calls aren't being called. The Eagles have to be sending these plays to the league every week. Shane is 100% about the holding. It's costing Carter money at some point.
I'm pretty sure it's not going to cost Carter any money.
No.
He's getting everything.
He's going to be the highest paid defensive tackle in the league in 2 years.
Yeah, no doubt. Quinyon is a top blank corner in the NFL, 3, 5, or 10. Any thoughts on that, guys?
Top 3. Look, I'm sorry. I mean, they don't throw at him, and when they do, he makes the play. It's unbelievable the plays this kid continues to make. He's top 3 corner.
Mm-hmm. The 4 hitches on third and long needs to be ripped out of the playbook. We'll get to offense. Maddox should never see the field again. Excellent comment from Shake. Q is top 1. And Brett Eclipse says Aaron Donald effect. I thought this was another great game from Zach Bond, who had a couple big plays in this one on the tackle for loss there, sending the message. Derrick Henry didn't really have a lot of room in this one. He had 81 yards, roughly 82 yards on 19 carries, a long of 19, but never really got going. I feel like the Eagles, for the most part, were, doing exactly what they needed to do. And Zach Bond continues to cement just this amazing story with the Philadelphia Eagles of a guy that's never played in the middle of the field and looks like an all-pro. And again, he had led the team, 13 tackles, half a sack, a tackle for loss. Just an unbelievable, yet again, performance by Zach Bond. I'm only pumping him up because he was my player of the game prediction.
Zach Bond had 7 defensive stops, 2 pressures, and a sack in this game.
And in a game where this was strength versus strength, and I'm just blown away. Guys, I'm just blown away at what this guy has meant for the identity of this Eagles defense. I think there's so many things, so many layers of new additions and young guys on this Vic Fangio defense. But for me personally, right there with Jalen Carter up the middle, it's got to be Zach Bond. Eagles Eric says, imagine if the passing game was cookie. We're going to get into that because there are some concerns. There are some legit concerns. Our scripted plays to start, it's brutal, man. They can't continuously punt the first 2 or 3 possessions away against really good teams. They're lucky in this one. We'll talk about why. But at the end of the day, a win's a win, especially against a really good offense. The Eagles have 4 players who should be all pros and at least 2 guys who are guaranteed to get it on defense. Maddox is terrible. That's what it is. Any other thoughts on the defense before we roll on to Jalen Hurts? Shane?
I think we've hit on a lot of the high points. Jalen Carter and Milton Williams each had 8 pressures in this game.
Wow.
And Josh Sweat had 6 pressures. Honestly, outside of Lamar Jackson just doing the insane Lamar Jackson things that he's going to do a few times, he extends that one play and hits Zay Flowers for, I think it was like a 39-yard gain. He had a couple that were just extending plays, getting out of the pocket, and that's going to happen. Outside of that, they did nothing. Derrick Henry, 32% success rate, negative 0.13 EPA per play. Lamar Jackson, that's his drop back EPA was 0.11, but that's just his passing, or that's including his scrambles, which was a decent part of that. It was just incredible performance overall by the defense. And I really felt like the only time the Baltimore Ravens offense really worked was when Lamar made something special happen.
It was the only time.
Shane, how pissed were you on that final garbage time drive by the Baltimore Ravens that it screws up their DVOA tomorrow morning?
I won't mess it up too much. I'm pretty sure they adjust for that.
Okay.
here's the one thing I want to say. You guys are great with all those stats. I'm going to put it to you this way. They gave up 9 points in the first quarter. Take that garbage touchdown out. They gave up 3 points the rest of the game to the best offense in football. I know that there were 2 missed field goals, but they made stops to make those field goals long enough where Justin Tucker was thinking about him, right? He has not been good from deep this year. This defense is not just playing good. They are playing Super Bowl worthy defense right now. And I put them up against any offense. And yes, I know what that means when I say it, but I'd put them up against any offense in this league right now and feel very comfortable with it.
That's where I started the show with, like, the way they handled the Ravens, the way they handled the Bengals, the way they handled the Rams, the Commanders. Like, the narrative has to stop that this team can't slow down a top offense. They just did.
And it's funny because Romo tried to feed into that. I don't know if you heard him towards the end of the game where he starts listing the teams they beat, and he said, really, before this, people were questioning. No. They were questioning before the Bengals. The Eagles passed that challenge. They questioned before the Commanders. The Eagles passed that challenge. The Ram. They've consistently passed these challenges and need to be looked at as the best defensive football with no question at this point.
Yep. Fully agree. Texas, Saquon's going to get you eventually. We're going to get into that touchdown run. That was one of the – I felt like Lane Johnson or Jalen Hurts like pointing to the end zone when Saquon went, because you felt it coming. You felt it coming, and it did. And that was Saquon's MVP moment, right at Lamar Jackson saying, look at me. I'm the MVP now. It was awesome, man. Cameron says Quinion allowed 2 catches on 4 targets for 4 yards. Holy shit. Is that true? That's amazing.
In the last 3 games, the Eagles defense has forced, in the first 2 possessions of each of the last 3 games, the Eagles defense has forced 1 punt and given up 24 points. And then after that, they are just lights out. Yeah, it's insane.
That's just crazy. Just major shout out to Vic Fangio for adjusting, and for a team that's had a narrative of never adjusting in 2023 is so refreshing. Is Milton Williams making his case to get paid in Philly? He's been terrific these last few weeks. Nolan Smith getting the sack, really starting to kind of be that spiritual successor in BG. Kind of similar. I see it. I see it a little bit, like a guy that's kind of slowly ramping up. I get it. Another garbage time touchdown. Our overall stats suck. I'm right there with you. Best second half team. We beat the best ground attack and the best air attack. The defense is real. Literally had to mute the TV by the way, like when Romo first started, I thought he was phenomenal. And now I'm just annoyed. Anybody else?
Yeah, he's gotten worse and worse. I mean, I didn't think he was terrible today. I just think he tries to be too cliche with his comments. I think he tries to be too silly at times. There was a rumor that after his second year, they actually told him he needed to go get training because if not, they were going to get rid of him because because all he was doing was trying to predict plays, and he just looked stupid. But it is what it is. Any reason why Jim Nantz decided that Britton Covey was French today? Anyone catch that? He referred to him as Covey all day. There's another one by Covey. I was like, and I love Jim Nantz. I think Jim Nantz is one of the best in the game. But I just I'm like, why did you all of a sudden decide today that he's French? Because you've called his name before. I don't understand.
That's hilarious. I did not see that. That's fantastic. Defense has carried them all year. Braden Mann also had a terrific game.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll get a mention during the player of the game picks. Romo really wants you to know that he thought that spot when his foot was clearly out of bounds, and then he wraps his hand around, and he's like saying that they forgot about those extra yards, and then they saw it in the replay, and he's like, "Oh, that's a different look." Like, I don't know. I'm kind of out on Tony Romo. All right, let's get to the Eagles offense. We'll start with Jalen Hurts in this one. Let me scroll up here. 11 of 19.
Hold on. Before we get there, I just finished tabulating a stat that I want to share.
Do it. Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, so I mentioned the first 2 drives, last 3 games. the Eagles have forced 1 punt and 6 drives and surrendered 24 total points. In the rest of those 3 games, 12 punts and 2 turnover on downs on 24 drives, and they surrendered 33 total points, 21 of which were touchdowns under 2 minutes left in multi-score games. So if you take away that garbage time last drive, they've surrendered 12 total points after the opening 2 drives across the last 3 games combined.
It's almost as though that is Vic Fangio's defense. Take the first 2 drives to figure out what we have to do. Hope that we can hold them to a field goal or maybe a turnover, and then we buckle in. Because it's all the time now.
Yeah. Keep the comments coming, guys. We have a comment, massive day for the parlays. I think Rob agrees.
Yeah, just for you wonderful listeners out there. As for fun, last night I decided to take all 7 1:00 games, do a money line parlay with who I thought was going to win, and damn it, did it not hit $15? Won me a cool $1,085 today. So I am living pretty today. Now I get to pay bills, but that's okay because that was $1,000 that I didn't have before.
All right, Jalen Hurts, 11 of 19, 118 yards, a touchdown. Also added a touchdown on the ground, 9 carries for 29 yards. This is one of those games where didn't really impact the game too much. I think more of it was the offense and the play calling, especially the first quarter. And about 8 minutes remaining in the second quarter, they finally started to go to those short passes to A.J. Brown and really feasted. Like, A.J. was getting whatever he wanted. And then, sure enough, the third quarter came in and they kind of went away from it yet again. Fourth quarter comes and they really just pounded the rock with Saquon. I'll throw it to you, Shane. How would you grade Jalen Hurts today? Quick thoughts on his performance.
Man, I hate grading quarterbacks after watching broadcast copy of games. I hate it because I don't know. I didn't think there were like egregious misses. The passing game clearly wasn't clicking early in the game, and then he got hot, and then it kind of cooled back off. I mean, I'll give him like a B+, and it could swing like 2-letter grades in either direction after I watch all 22.
Yeah. Rob, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, he started the game 0 for 5, so, he goes 11 for 14 after that. But beyond that, I thought he made a couple really good checks at the line. I thought he made some really good runs in critical moments. There was a 3rd and 5 that he took the ball right up the middle and gets a big first down. I think that he made very good decisions off the RPOs today, and the Ravens could not stop those RPOs on their 2 biggest drives, their 2 touchdown drives today. 2 of them, I should say. The RPOs were huge because they didn't know what to defend because they literally ran it to Saquon, then he took off, then he threw the ball out to Goddard. I thought overall he made very good decisions there. So because of that, I'm going to give him an A because I think he didn't do a lot, but he didn't have to because the defense was there to win the game today. And I thought those decisions on a couple of really big drives that got them touchdowns went a long way for this win.
And naturally, to follow up on Rob's point, the RPOs and the play action targeting the middle of the field really unlocked the offense on those back-to-back touchdown drives to close out the first half. So naturally, the coaches went into the locker room and looked at the cut-ups of that on the tablets and didn't run a single one in the entire second half.
I don't understand. Like, this team is so incredibly impressive at showing you something that works really well and then just going away from it. It's amazing.
Maybe they were like, you know what? I think we got this game. We're going to see these guys again in the Super Bowl. We know this is going to work. Let's not make sure they know we know it's going to work.
Like the RPOs, the design runs with Hurts, making that defense go, horizontal. I thought that's what really opened up this one for the offense, but we just need to see it across 4 quarters. I don't really know what else to say. There, at some point, it's going to hurt them, right? I don't know. By the way, I love this comment about the turnovers. The turnovers were nuts in this one. I feel like every single fumble in this game bounced right back, right into the own team's hands. It was weird. It was a really weird game with all the fumbles. We have a comment, Bruce saying Jalen's a winner. Cameron saying 0 turnovers is good enough for me from Jalen Hurts in this one. Picking up the bad snap. I think that was on the tush push. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
James saying Jalen is a running back, worst quarterback at read option. I disagree with that. It's like me 8 beers deep playing NCAA.
I think he might have typoed a bit there. I think he's saying that he's bad reading those out at times, which he did miss one, and Romo called it out. I thought he missed another one on the read on those. So he does miss those at times for sure.
Yeah. Shane, Eagles always outthinking themselves on offense. Hurts is a winner. We just need to continue with that short passing game. That Eagles short passing game with A.J. Brown and the slants, it's unstoppable. And we have seen progress with that in recent weeks, especially in the middle of the field and between the hashes. We just see more of it. God damn it. Is that so much to ask? Let's get into Saquon Barkley. And man, oh man, was that not just one of the better plays of the season? The 25-yard touchdown run from Saquon, finished 23 carries, 107 yards, a touchdown. Kind of was held in check for the most part, I think more so by the Eagles than the Ravens. But Barkley, that was an MVP play made by an MVP. I don't know what else to say. Rob, quick thoughts on the Eagles run game.
Yeah, I mean, he makes the plays when he needs to. I don't think he was held in check by the Ravens. I thought the Eagles did not give him the ball nearly enough in the first 3 quarters of this game. It almost seemed like, especially in that third quarter when they were getting nothing going, like they were afraid to go to it because he got stopped in the backfield on like 1 or 2 plays. It was almost like Kellen Moore was afraid to call another one. But I thought overall, I mean, even when he was being held in check, he was averaging over 4 yards a carry. You got to give him the rock. And I think finally in the fourth quarter, after another missed field goal, or in the third quarter after another missed field goal, they finally started to do it. And it changes the game. And then he finally finds the lane and breaks one for a touchdown. The guy, look, I don't care what people say about the MVP award being a quarterback award. It shouldn't be. It hasn't been in the past. Adrian Peterson won one. What this guy has done is changed a franchise. He's changed a franchise. So if he's not the leader in the clubhouse, I don't know what he'd have to do, but he's my MVP, damn it. It's unbelievable what he's doing right now.
Shane?
Yeah, I mean, Saquon obviously gets the great start to the game. I think it was like a 13-yard carry, and then you get into the little inexplicable sequence of events where you draw up a play for a guy you called up from your practice squad in Paris Campbell, and then you throw a pass out to the flat to your third string running back who has 0 targets this season. And then you throw to your wide receiver 5 and Britton Covey on third down short of the sticks to punt the ball. So, that's kind of dumb. But Saquon Barkley, he struggled at times. I mean, they struggled to get going at times in this game. He ends the game with only a 39% rushing success rate. And it felt like you were banging your head against a wall a decent amount of the time, but then you end up breaking through in the fourth quarter. And that's really what this team does. Like, they got to stick close in games and you wear down the opposing line. And they end up with 4 breakaway runs, and Saquon ends up over 100 yards and a touchdown. And, you have to be able to throw the ball, especially when the run game's not working. And I thought the run game struggled early in this game. And it's a good thing that they were able to get that RPO game going, because I didn't feel like anything else other than that in the passing game worked. And if you get Devontae Smith back and you can just get this pure drop back passing game lined out, it's going to make things even easier for Barkley than it already is. And this is a really good run defense, and he still went over 100 yards. I still just find myself wishing like we could unlock that passing attack a little more to take a little bit of that heat off of Saquon Barkley. But I thought he played well. I don't think necessarily like the pound the table, yell, run the ball was the thing this game. Like, I feel like people were getting frustrated with Barkley's touches, and I didn't feel like it was so much not giving him the ball enough as it was the pass game that was being schemed up was just really bad.
We have a question. Could Missing Devontae Smith be the issue with the short passing game. I mean, there's been many first halves when Devontae's not even involved in this offense. So it's a hot mess of a lot of things. I agree, Shane. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a run. If it's just a check down, I'm good with that. Just this offense tends to get out of rhythm, and we've seen what works for this offense, whether it's the slant to AJ or Devontae or Goddard or the check down. There's just way too many long developing routes, and that's just my take. We have a comment. Saquon has 7 touchdowns of 20-plus yards this season. Shane, this is getting nuts, man. Again, Saquon's over 1,500 yards this season. He's now tied in single season Eagles history with 800-plus rushing yard games. Like,
I mean,
this is getting crazy, Shane.
He's highly motivated to score from 20 yards out because he's terrified if he gets down inside the 5 and gets tackled, he's not getting the touchdown. So, maybe there's some psychological warfare going on there. It's like, Saquon, you better break this, because if you don't, we're going to make you push Jalen into the end zone instead.
Apparently Bud Kilmer is the coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know if anybody loves Varsity Blues. That little Varsity Blues joke there. Wow, at the Jalen stat against other top quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts versus Lamar, Allen, Burrow, and Mahomes, 67%, 19 total touchdowns, 4 turnovers. He's been killing it, man. He's been killing it. Shane, we need a Kellen Moore offensive breakdown. Anyone else worry when Saquon lost yards late in the game and push more? No. I was a little worried about that fumble, though, because there has been moments this season where, a Barkley drop or a fumble or something has cost the Eagles late in games. What was your thoughts on that?
Same thing. I was just like,
not again.
I was
not like this.
Oh
not
no, the
like
Falcons
this.
game. Like, that was literally my first thought was, oh no, the Falcons game.
All right, let's go to the Eagles receiving performance in this W. Let me get the stats up. A.J. Brown leads the way, 5 receptions for 66 yards. Shane, did he have a catch in the second half?
I can check that for you, because you do this to me every week, and so I've started screenshotting the box score at halftime. He did not. He was 5 for 66 yards on 6 targets at halftime. He had 0 targets in the second half.
And there was a segment of this game where A.J. Brown was just cooking. And that's ridiculous. Dallas Goedert.
In the second half, the Eagles only had 2 catches. Let's see. It was Dallas Goedert had a 9-yard catch.
That was a third down catch.
That was a huge catch.
And who was the other one? Saquon had a 5-yard catch. So in the second half, Saquon had a 5-yard catch and Dallas Goedert had a 9-yard catch.
Yep. Jahan Dotson, 1 reception. Paris Campbell had a target. Covey had a target. Quick thoughts on the receiving group, Shane?
Yeah, I mean, A.J. Brown is incredible. Dallas Goedert made a couple good plays. You would like to see something from somebody else. Like, you need to be able to look at what the defense did. You're missing Darius Slay. You're missing Reed Blankenship. You didn't lose Quinyon Mitchell for long, but you're playing multiple backups in your defensive secondary, and the pass defense is incredible. It's like you miss one little thing on the passing offense and the wheels start to come off. And yeah, you've got that great running game to rely on, but the Eagles desperately need Devontae Smith back. They need Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and Dallas Goedert on the field together. I think that's happened for like 5 quarters of football this year. And so I made that stat up. I don't know if that's accurate, but it seems like one of those guys has been hurt all season. And so having all of those guys would help. But I mean, the reality is this passing attack's been worse statistically than last year's passing attack. And they've solved their issues against the blitz. That was the fatal flaw that people just didn't attack until the playoffs last year. But you need more. And, there was a couple plays I shouted out Jahan Dotson and even Paris Campbell for blocking downfield, and they're putting in high effort. And so they're doing something. It's just the passing game is still off a little bit. And so I'm anxious to get into the all-22 and try to figure out what's going on.
Little concerning considering how bad the Ravens are with their pass defense. I was shocked that even without Devontae, they weren't able to do more. Rob, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great day for the pass catchers, no doubt about it. I thought AJ made some catches early. Even though he didn't make a lot of catches, I thought Dallas Goedert made a couple really big catches for this team. The Ravens secondary hasn't been good, but last couple weeks they've changed a little bit. They've gotten a little bit better. They played well. I mean, Pittsburgh's not, but even Justin Herbert didn't pick them apart all game last week. So they're improving too, but we've got to see more. I mean, we've got to see more. It's Jahan Dotson has just not worked out at all. You hope Devontae Smith will be okay. You hope they're just, giving him some extra rest here and maybe he gets back for next week, or maybe give him off against Carolina, have him back against Pittsburgh. I don't know. But at the end of the day, obviously because of the way the defense played this week, you didn't need them, but you want to see that get better for sure.
Yep. By the way, Nate Wiggins, I don't recall his name being mentioned at all. Does anybody remember a Nate Wiggins play?
The only Nate Wiggins play I can remember is when AJ hit him with his patented hitch route, fake inside to make the corner go diving that way, and then get another 20 yards running down the sideline. He got pretty good on that one.
He jumped off sides on that field goal.
Yeah, which I didn't know that he jumped. I didn't see it. And I just get and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me that this is going to be one of these games now. But
I was literally thinking before they snapped it, like, I'm not sure I wouldn't just call another run play because a blocked field goal return for a touchdown could screw you over here. And then they blocked it. And I was like, and the ball was bouncing around. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Calcaterra's blocking is horrid. Gamewell didn't get a touchdown. Ryan's very happy. Nelson Aguilar continuing to help the Philadelphia Eagles. AJ owned Wiggins. Wiggins didn't have any. Yep. I don't recall anything from Nate Wiggins.
Vontae Maddox needs to buy Aguilar a steak dinner because he roasted him on like one of the three plays that he played, and he just.
I love on that big drive. It's Aguilar who drops two passes. It just makes me feel so good watching that happen to another team.
By the way, Avonte Maddox played 2 snaps in this game. If I recall correctly, he gave up a reception on one, and then on the other, or no, it was a holding. Yeah, he got flagged for holding on one, and then he gave up that bomb to Nelson Aguilar that Aguilar dropped. Like, seriously, like, cut him. Like, if that's the only way to, Howie Roseman should cut him so Vic Fangio will stop putting him on the field, because literally anyone on that team should be playing. Like, put Nolan Smith at slot cornerback if you need to, but stop putting Avonte Maddox on the football field.
Cameron, the closest Bradbury should come to the field is last week when, for whatever reason, NBC put the penalty on Bradbury, although he was not dressed. But they called the penalty on. They put up on the thing 24 Bradbury, and I was like, no, that's not true. That's the closest he should come to the field.
All right. Aguilar was his normal self.
Yeah.
Big question. Are the holding penalties just down across the NFL? I mean, truthfully, they happen every single week across the board. That's what it is. But I don't know. I don't have anything else to explain when it comes to, at least as an Eagles fan with Jalen Carter, because it feels like it's, at least this last few weeks, it's been all the time.
Yeah. I don't know the answer statistically to that. I'd have to try to look it up.
I said it before, the Rams, any team that just keeps the Eagles dime package on the field and attacks Avonte, especially with the run, too, as we have seen. So they see Avonte, they're going right at him on the edge. Shane, the age-old question of who you trust more to catch a pass between Q and Aguilar is still in the air.
Oh,
how about Zach McPherson?
Definitely Nelson Aguilar, because I have seen him catch a pass before. So I wouldn't feel good about either one of them catching one, but I have seen Aguilar do it before. I've never seen Quinyon catch a football.
No illegal man downfield today. The penalties were brutal, man.
And there was one actually, but
yes.
But it was a really smart play by Jalen when he pulled. Okay, he pulled it when he shouldn't have, so that was bad. But he couldn't get the edge, and then he just throws it. And Romo was like, you can't do that there. It's like, no, you absolutely do that, because it was either they accept the penalty and it's 1st and 15, or you just get tackled and it's 2nd and 14. Like, give me first. So I thought that was a really smart play by Jay. You can tell that's not something you think about a lot, though, because he was like so late, like switching the ball and just trying to toss it as he was going out of bounds. But that was a really smart play. We don't count that one as illegal man downfield, even though it was called, because like obviously they're going to be downfield 4 seconds later. But that was a smart play.
Did they try one of their wide receiver screens today? I don't think I saw one.
I don't recall a wide receiver screen.
Recall one of their wide receiver quick screens. I love it. We didn't have to see it.
I think the closest thing to a screen there was that little swing pass to what's his name? He never plays, but he was scripted into the first drive. Will Shipley.
That made no sense. I was like, oh, maybe they're going to give him some snaps today. He never saw the field again.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it.
Jalen Hunt was impressive. He's got potential. I fully agree, Rocco. I can't wait to see the snap count in this one. Brendan, Jalen Carter's getting the Parsons treatment. Watching Lamar evade tackles gave me Eagles 2016-27 Russell Wilson vibes. And then Shipley sighting. Any other comments?
Lamar is so frustrating, man.
He's so good.
He's so good. That one play that he had when they were backed up near their own goal line, like, it's just like, I love Lamar, except when we play him. It's just amazingly frustrating is the only way I know to describe watching Lamar play, because, I mean, if you let him out of the pocket, or he's happy to stand in the pocket for 5 or 6 seconds because you're rushing contain. If you let him out of the pocket, like, he's just so deadly. He's so good.
Cameron says, slide Isaiah Rodgers into the slot, put Ringo outside. How do you get Maddox off the field? They'll bring in a corner next year.
Clone sure. Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be pretty nice, wouldn't it?
I would rather put Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in the slot in dime and bring Tristan McCollum onto the field as a safety than put Avonte Maddox out there again. That's what I would do.
I'm good with that. But CJ had some hits tonight, too. He made some plays.
Some plays. Apparently, after the first 2 drives, he pulled the whole defense together and had what they called a spirited conversation. I mean, yeah, he's going to drive you nuts. But he does do a couple of those little things off the field, I think, that sometimes, that for whatever reason, works with this team. This team.
Yep. Cooper's stop on Henry was awesome. Howie Roseman is going to get to win a 3rd executive of the year. Damn you, Shane. I think you beat him to the punch. Any other comments on offense before we roll into player of the game? Going once, going twice. Let's get into Eagles player of the game. Rob, lead us off, man. Who you going with?
God. I mean, you could go anywhere. I'm going Jalen Carter, though. I just think that this guy is causing so much of an issue on the interior of that defensive line. I know Lamar made a few of his plays, but Lamar never looked fully comfortable, and it's because of Jalen Carter. And he's doing whatever he's doing is impacting all those around him. He's taking on blocks so that the linebackers can get in the backfield. All in all, he is, as Shane said, the most disruptive player in the game today. And, people talked about Aaron Donald, and that was this generation as well. But I'm telling you, for the youngsters out there, I mean, I was young when he played. Go back and watch those couple of big years with Jerome Brown and tell me you don't see almost like an exact twin of him and Jalen Carter.
All right. Jalen Carter for Rob, definitely stealing mine. Ray says Carter's a beast. Shane, who you going with? Please don't ruin my moment.
I'm going to take Zach Bond. I thought Zach Bond was incredible. The amount of high impact plays that he had, especially that one where he came I think it was like a same side toss to Derrick Henry, and he just blew it up in the backfield. I'll give it to Bond. He was awesome.
Yeah, Zach Bond was awesome. I'm going to go with Cooper.
If you say Vic Fangio, I'm kicking you out of the stream.
You're done. You're out.
Damn it. Can I go Justin Tucker or
yes, you can do that. You can do that.
No, I was going to go Cooper DeJean.
Okay.
That hit on Derrick Henry was just the statement we've been waiting for. Ryan says, I watched Jerome Brown highlights on Friday and couldn't agree more. Cooper DeJean, I mean, the Eagles haven't lost since he's been a starter this season, which feels like an eternity ago, and he just consistently makes plays. Watching the bench on the Eagles erupt when he makes that play. By the way, Derrick Henry's got a lot of size on Cooper DeJean, and did it, and the swag and the confidence, and like it was a normal play from Cooper DeJean, and we've seen this before with Jamar Chase and the fourth down stop against the Bengals, things like that. It seems like every week Cooper DeJean is making these big momentum swinging plays. So give me Cooper DeJean in this one.
Derrick Henry has 2.5 inches and 45 pounds on Cooper DeJean.
Holy hell.
It's awesome.
It's unbelievable.
It's fantastic. I think one of you have picked Zach Bond every win since the bye. By the way, my player of the game prediction was Zach Bond. Can't wait for Birds of the Round Table. We'll see. By the way, I don't get any points for that. Fuck my life. I just couldn't. Brandon says, what do we do on the line with BG out? I don't. Jalen Hunt got some snaps.
Jalen Hunt played a career high 35 snaps. He'd played 24 and 25 the previous 2 weeks. Nolan Smith played 58 snaps. His previous high was 39. So Hunt jumped about 10 snaps and Smith jumped about 20 snaps.
Yep. I didn't see Milton Williams kicked outside. I don't know if we saw Josh Sweat kicked inside. I don't know yet. We'll see. This team just plays together. This team's fun, man. James, this team has a lot of positive vibes going forward. Next week, legit trap game. Is that the Panthers?
Yeah, they just beat the Buccaneers.
No. The Bucs, I think, came back and won in overtime, didn't they?
Oh, did they? They were up 3 with 30 seconds left.
Yeah, the Bucs went down, kicked a 57-yard field goal or 50-yard field goal, and then won it in overtime. But
oh gosh,
the last 2 weeks, Carolina has literally been in the game against two of the teams that people consider the better than average teams in this league, and the Chiefs and the Bucs, and lost on a field goal. So my hope is the Eagles just come out and don't start slow and are up 24-0 before we can breathe.
Yeah. I'm sad that we won't be able to keep Zach Bond. Probably going to make a lot of money.
Never.
Replacing Maddox with DeJean is an insane upgrade. Nolan Smith had a really good game. I feel like, how many sacks did the Eagles have in this one? 3 sacks, but I feel like the pressure was there pretty consistently. Yeah. They just need to keep Maddox benched. I absolutely agree. Low-key draft need. I'll add that to the list of slot corner and things like that going forward. All right, let's get into our Eagles game in 3 words or less. Shane, lead us off.
All right, every week we put out from the Eagles Pin Poll Twitter account. Go follow it at Eagles Pin Poll. I also retweet it every time, but asking for your 3-word reactions to the game. We share some of our favorite ones off of Twitter here on the show. So every week after the show, head over to Twitter. Make sure you drop your 3 words. We have Ryan on Twitter saying Saquon is inevitable. This one, the only thing missing here is you need the GIF of Thanos snapping his fingers. That would have been better, but Saquon is inevitable. We've got Dan with the praise Vic Fangio. Jalen Hurts' brain said they are fearless. Max says maybe we're good with a shrugging emoji. I don't know how to pronounce this name, but Raven, maybe. It says incredible defensive performance. Go Birds said, please call holding. And then Elliot echoed that with a not one hold. And we also got several talking about officials and language I'm not going to share because this is a family show, but you can go check them out on Twitter. So those were our 3 words from Twitter. My 3-word reaction to this game is thank you, Dolphins. I am so happy that the Dolphins defensive players are too soft to play for Vic Fangio. and that they ran him out of town after he turned their horrific defense around and made it a top unit in the league despite dealing with multiple injuries. They are a soft football team. I'm so glad they ran him out of town. And now the Eagles playing the best passing offense since the 2007 Patriots by DVOA, missing 2 starting defensive backs, held that offense to 12 points before a garbage time touchdown. So thank you, Dolphins, for running Vic Fangio out of town, you poverty franchise.
All right. Rob, do you have a Eagles game in 3 words or less?
I'm going to go with how I started the show, gut check win, because that's what it was. It was a gut check win. It was not your prettiest offensive performance. You were going up against one of the best teams in the league, specifically offensively, and you held them to 3 points after the first quarter, not counting a garbage time touchdown. You and your offense, who struggled for most of the day, found it on 3 or 4 drives when they needed it and found ways to score points, and you still put 24 points on the board, and you walk out of there with a really, really impressive win over one of the best the AFC has to offer you. This was absolutely a gut check win for the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right. What about you, Shane?
I already did mine.
Oh, that's right.
I was making fun of the Dolphins.
All right.
I think Dibes had one too many of his lemonades over there today.
Defense is special. Fix the passing. Second half team. Defense wins championships. Ticket to NOLA. I love that. No turnovers allowed. We love Uncle Vic. That's cheating,
That's
Rocco. That's cheating. Refs were trying to rig the game, but it didn't work. I have 2 in my head, and both are Jalen Carter and Cooper DeJean. I'll say number 1, Coop the Kingslayer, for just destroying Derrick Henry. That's going to be one of the best highlights of the season, no doubt about it, as we look back at this one. And by far the Eagles' best statement win of the season. And then it's got to be something along the lines, like off the top of my head, like Jalen Carter is just the final piece of this defense. And he has been the driving force, the key cog of, I think, everything we have seen so far, especially with the Eagles defense becoming number 1 in the NFL. The final piece, is that fair? Are you guys good with that? The final piece is what I'm going to say. Jalen Carter.
Yep.
I want to say that somebody out there that's really good on Twitter, that's not me, needs to take the Cooper DeJean hit and dub over it Jim Ross from the WWE screaming. And I think it was during a cage match, but it was, one of those, oh my God, moments. Somebody needs to do that, and I need to hear it and then save it forever, because that's what I want to do.
All right. And that about wraps it up. Eagles move on. They are rolling. We're going to get ready for the Panthers game next week. Ryan Reese Lucky. I love it. We are moving on. Final thoughts, plugs. Time is yours. Rob, lead us off, man.
Here's my one final thought. Under Nick Sirianni, the Eagles are now 24-9 on the road. 24-9 on the road. You can hate his antics. You can hate him. You can think he's stupid. You can think he's dumb. You can think all the things you want to think. But all I know is this team wins under Nick Sirianni. And the players, who are the only ones that matter, love the guy. And yes, Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio, but Nick Sirianni is there. He's finally dove into this role of just being the CEO coach, the guy that the players love. He's a players coach, and this team is rolling right now, man. And I just love it for all of them. But that I've been a Nick guy, and I love it for him too. So, hopefully it continues on. You catch me tomorrow night, Party on Broad. Get on there with my buddy Dibes up there, and then Ryan will join us. And then, catch me on some of these post games as well. And we'll, continue to go from there.
All right. And you catch them winning parlays over there. My man, Rob.
I'll start sending them out too, because I'm just that good now.
Shane, Time is yours.
Yeah, and appreciate you guys all tuning in for the post-game show. Be sure you are subscribed to the Eagles Pin Pull Network. We got a lot of content coming your way this week, so like, subscribe, follow on podcasting platforms. That really helps us out. I saw some comments asking about schematic things offensively. Said the Kellen Moore offensive coordinator review. I'll get into that on my show with Johnny on Wednesday. I also put out Jalen Hurts pass game review every single week in Discord or in Patreon. And so you can go check that out at patreon.com/ontheshanepage. You can get a free week of that just to check out this week's video if you want, and maybe you'll stick around. But come hang out with us there. And, we'll see you guys Tuesday night for Birds of the Round Table and all the other shows throughout the week.
Awesome, man. We'll be back. Birds of the Round Table, 8 o'clock Tuesday night, talking everything Eagles versus Panthers. If you love the NFL draft or Eagles, go check us out at Party on Broad. I put out daily Eagles content on shorts and things like that. Tons of fun. He is Shane. He is Rob. I am Dives. Thanks for watching, guys. Go Birds. See you on the next one. Stay awesome.